Hey, Kaylee, my name's James Massella from Movie Death Close. Thanks for taking the time to sit down with me today.
Thank you for having me, James. Nice to meet you.
So, what was it like filming the role as Jack in Mercy? How did you come about the role? What was it like filming on set?
It was such a crazy, different, amazing experience. The script came across my desk, as they say, and I fell in love with the script immediately. What it was about. I had no idea who done what. I didn't know where this was going, and just every page was just another mystery. And just to see the journey with my character is amazing. Especially towards the end, I was like, "Oh, this is a character I can so build off of," and just seeing where Chris Pratt's character was, and even where Rebecca was, you can kind of see the AI judges. Everybody has this crazy journey, so shooting it was crazy. Timur Bekmambetov, the director, he has such an eye, and he's the master of the screen life genre. He had drones flying, he had CCTVs, he had ring cameras. I held the camera at one point. Like, it was really cool to see it on the page while we were doing it and then see the final product, because when you're doing it sometimes you're like, I don't know what this is going to look like, but I'm going to do it and we're going to just they'll get it together.
Now, are you guys actually filming on screen together? Because your character Jack is in one spot, Chris's character is another, and Rebecca's like a judge. So are you guys ever on set at the same time, or are you kind of just watching what they're doing from different aspects of it?
So this was an interesting aspect too. We shot really long takes. We're talking 50, 60-minute long, because Chris is in that chair for most of it. And we were in this little tent on the other side, kind of feeding him lines. And we ran through it like almost like a stage play. We ran through it a bunch of times, and Rebecca was on another space, far away from us, where Chris couldn't hear her over his mic in his ear. So we didn't spend a lot of time in the same room, especially my character. But we worked on our understanding our partnership and our relationship as partners, and his backstory, my backstory, and spent a lot of time with law enforcement detective to understand that dynamic, so that when you see us on the phone, it looks like, all right, they know each other, like they're partners. So it was a lot of time outside of off camera, but he was in that damn chair for so long. Like, he's a real MVP sitting in that chair. I was on the quadcopter. That was fun.
How did they film the quadcopter? That's what I was interested in. Like, because you're flying around on this like futuristic cop helicopter. So, like, are you on like a dune buggy, or is like how do they do that for you on there?
So it was an actual. They had a refurbished a real LAPD cruiser, but they added, the basically big drone propellers on the end of it, and I was just on a dolly. Like, they had me lifting up, lifting down, and we shot that in a volume stage. A volume stage is, they can make this place look as small as this room or as big as Philly, and it looked so real. It was like actually being on a virtual reality ride, because I was, on the dolly. I wasn't flying around, but they're shaking it, they're twisting and turning it, and then I had this 360 LED screen, so it was like being on a virtual reality ride. I almost got sick a few times, but and then outside on set, like on location, same thing. They just put the actual real motorcycle on this dolly, and they had lift off, and they did their own post production as far as having me fly. But I was riding like 5-6 minutes in these takes, riding through downtown LA. It was a lot of fun.
So you're an expert flyer now on cop.
Yes, I am. So when it comes out, Amazon owes me one.
You guys were at New York Comic Con this year for
Yes.
I was there in the room with you
Awesome.
guys. You wouldn't have seen me. I was like 3 rows back. What was that experience like for you? Have you ever been to a Comic Con before? What was it like seeing that crowd and everything?
I never been to a Comic Con like as a spectator. I want to go. The first one I went to was Sao Paulo in Brazil when I did True Detective. This was my only second Comic Con, and it was so cool. Like, I love the energy there. It was exciting because we just kind of reunited for the first time after shooting this movie. So I love the crowds at Comic Con. They're so into what we're doing and so excited. It was a lot of fun.
Usually have them on their finger at that point. Everybody just wants to see what you guys are going to do next, especially the clips that they were showing. But Rebecca Ferguson, I think she's tremendous in everything.
Yes.
What did you think of her performance as Judge Maddox? Like, it was just like AI, like doing this like thing, not blinking, but then it gets more complicated as the movie goes on.
She brought such a interesting perspective of it, because reading it, you're like, it's just gonna be a judge, but obviously we knew that it was a real person playing it. She took it, like, the way she smiles at certain points where you're like, that is not a smiling moment. She, even when we was doing a table read, when she's saying numbers, she's like, I'm trying to sound like Siri. I'm like, you're doing fantastic. Like, she was amazing on her the complicated language that she had to use explaining some of these things. She it was really cool to see her work to kind of bring this humanity to this AI, but bring AI to her humanness. She is just an amazing artist. I was just a pleasure. I wish I could have worked with her more, but she's really down to earth, and she's hilarious actually.
When you get the role of Jack and Timur as your director, had you seen his work previously? Like, I assume everybody had seen Wanted, but I don't know if they've seen it. Because, like, I used to watch his stuff, night watch and day watch back in Russian. Like, were you a big fan of his? Had you seen any of the stuff that he did before?
Yeah, I see Wanted. That was when it came out. I watched it a bunch of times. I mean, Chris Pratt was in that one too. That was a great movie. And then Searching, Missing, like the way he does the screen life, like I didn't know why I was so hooked to it, but I'm like, this is so related. We're always on our screens, and just his storytelling style. I was like, oh, when I found out it was him directing, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be cool. Yeah, I was very familiar with his work.
Everybody forgets Chris is in Wanted because he's only in it for a little bit, but he gets hit in the face with that keyboard, and then once everybody sees it, then they remember at that point.
That was a cool little thing. They shot that on film.
Yes,
I didn't know that. I was like, okay, that's so cool.
We were talking about Timur before, but we also mentioned True Detective. You were cast in that show. I sat down with your showrunner Issa Lopez before that premiered. I told her episode 2 scared the hell out of me in the beginning. I wasn't paying attention. Then it happened, like that scream, and I was just hooked on that. I love that season. What was it like getting cast in that and being like part of HBO's like premiere show at True Detective season 4?
True Detective Night Country was my third job as an actress. So it was such a first. Again, I go back to the script. Her story writing, her creativity. She's a powerhouse of a woman. She's one of my favorite people. That was an insane experience. And then knowing who I was going to be co-starring with, and then I'm already a True Detective fan, and just it checked all the boxes for me. And then we shot in Iceland. It was such a cool experience. And Issa, she's the writer, director, showrunner. We have Jodie, who's just a goat at what she does. I've been a huge fan. And the storytelling as far as around the indigenous part of it, I'm indigenous, but I'm not Nupiaq. I'm not Dominican. I'm not any of those things, but I come from the indigenous community. So it was important for me to make sure that who I was representing approved, and we had actual authentic or indigenous people from those communities help with the culture part of it. So it was a really cool experience. And yes, the corpsicle is freaking cool.
I was not paying attention, and then that scream happened, and it startled the hell out of me. And I told her that. She's like, "That was my plan." I was like, "All right."
She just loves scaring the crap out of everyone. It was so fun. It was so fun to shoot. She's a horror genius too.
Your third job ever. You said. Did you expect to get nominated for a Golden Globe or a Primetime Emmy this early?
No, not at all. I mean, I got the Emmy and then the Golden Globe, Chris Royce, and I was just like, wow. This somebody's lying to me. No, but it just kind of verified, like I put a lot of work into that, and it was just, it was an honor to get nominated. I'd gotten nominated for a Spirit Award for my first movie coming out, so it's just kind of reiterating this is where I'm supposed to be. I'm not in it for awards and accolades. It's the storytelling, it's the learning, it's falling in love with being an actress and being a storyteller, having, everything I represent be kind of in the forefront. And I'm just, the same way I did with fighting. It's not just about me, it's about we. So it was pretty cool to kind of go to the Emmys, I'll say.
I'm probably one of the only people in this space that could talk to you about your boxing career because I've seen you fight. I remember 2018 against Cecilia Brækhus. I think it was the first women's fight on HBO at that point on the Triple G undercard and everything like that. I thought you had an argument to win that fight, but
most people do.
Do you ever see yourself going back? I think it's been like 5 years since you've been in the ring. Any chance of a comeback or anything like that?
I haven't retired. I've been blessed with this second career. All good fighters, we don't know how to quit. I also, my last fight was in 2021. It wasn't my choice to be, this is my last fight. I needed to stop for health reasons. And if it wasn't for boxing, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you about Issa Lopez and Mercy or anything like that. And boxing has given so much to me that I do want to fight one more time. I wish it was Cecilia. I still have some unfinished business. If you watch, and you already know. But I would love to fight. I started a promotional company in South Philly last year, fight on one of my own cards, but there's a couple of fights I would love to come back and do some things in the boxing community. It's nice to hear, when are you coming back? We miss you, versus she needs to hang it up. I'm glad she's going. So
it's a whole different thing now. But Jake Paul, what he's doing with Amanda Serrano in the 3-minute rounds that actually women get to fight now instead of the 2-minute round, it's a different game. But I would love to see you back in the ring. I remember the Hannah Gabriel fights and the Christina Hammer fights and stuff. Oh,
you a fan? I love that.
I was watching all the stuff in Germany streaming because that's how you wanted to watch it back in the day. But I was like, I knew Kaylee Reese the boxer before I ever knew Kaylee Reese the actress.
Same with me. I knew me as a fighter. I never knew I was going to get to this. I didn't know I had it in me, but Yeah.
But that's all I got for you today, Kaylee. I appreciate you sitting down with me to talk about your new film, Mercy, that comes out officially tomorrow, January 23rd. I hope everybody enjoys it and gets to see you and has a great time with it.
Thank you so much for having me. And if you do see it, you got to see it in IMAX 3D. It's a crazy experience. Go see it in theater.
You heard it here first. IMAX 3D from Kaylee Reis. Jack
Thank you.
Diallo. Thank you.